LEGO has just been caught using AI-generated images on the Ninjago section of their official website. Nowhere on the website do they disclose that these images are AI-generated, which means they are claiming them as their own. So apparently if you went to the LEGO Kids Ninjago section of their website and reached Kai's page, there was a new ninja quiz section on the bottom that you could play. From there you get a bunch of questions and 2 possible answers, with an image in the middle of the screen to give you a helpful nudge towards the correct answer in case you needed help because you're 4 years old. Jay's Brickblog also had the foresight to save all of these images, so let's just have a look at all of these official LEGO artworks and maybe give them some constructive criticism. Image 1 already stinks of AI with the soft glow look that AI seems to love for some reason, and like all AI images, it looks fine at a glance, but then you notice these extremely weird tools in the background held up by nothing. This torch is placed in such a way that it would set fire to the random wooden beam above it that seemingly serves no purpose apart from being set on fire by the torch. You have this pickaxe with an unusable handle, and of course you have his deformed hand and whatever the fuck this is supposed to be. Image 2 has the classic AI background character faces problem, as well as this weirdly deformed set of legs that honestly barely looks passable at a glance. And just look at that hand, like why does he have fingers? Image 3 gives us this dude with 2 holes in his left leg, neither of which are on the bottom where it's supposed to be, as well as inexplicably shoving 3 short-bladed katanas up his ass. Image 4 sees the return of the shin hole, as well as the total deformity of this guy's right limbs, this innovative way of holding a sword, and this thing, which I'm assuming is supposed to be a creature because it's definitely not fire or water. Image 5 is probably the best of the bunch, but still has this poor soul halfway through an unimaginably painful transition into a statue, and these 2 horizontal lines across his chest that I can only assume have some significance in the lore, but I don't really know Ninjago to be honest. Image 6 is probably the worst of the bunch, and it's just wrong in so many ways that I need to rapid fire through them. One hand randomly has a finger, the other has a spatula impaling through the side of it, at least I think that's a spatula. This plant is floating midair. You have the classic perfectly identical triple tomato strat beside the random L-shaped shadow, the single bluntest knife I have ever seen. This random gap in the table that gets reverted at some point behind the bowl of fire. The salt and pepper shakers that kind of just fade into the ether. This very human tile pattern above the window. And finally, I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but the kitchen is blatantly on fire and smoke is filling the room. Image 7 has Mr. Giant Head with the classic double horizontal chest lines, as well as the return of the poor soul begging for mercy mid-statuification, this katana with a ludicrous blade to handle ratio, and of course the inexplicable eyeball of water. Image 8 removes one of the horizontal chest lines in exchange for the most bent katana blade I've ever seen, some just really weird proportions, and this chap holding up a red card, which might be a reference to the Ninjago Spinners game, but again I'll leave that to the experts. And finally Image 9 with the double amputee in the background, this chap with an S-shaped stick, this lady with just some weird shit happening to her right hand, and this main dude with a V-shaped stick and a pretty blatant Naruto headband and hairpiece. Yeah, it's all just a mess. And for a company that's value relies entirely on their quality control and high standards, this is a really shameful and honestly embarrassing look. I think AI has a place in an artist's workflow. Specifically, I think it's an amazing resource for gathering reference images as a starting point. Artists have always taken other people's work and used them as inspiration to guide their own creations, like that's nothing new. However, at no point in the history of art will people just take their references and say, yep, there you go, that's my totally unique piece of art, which is what I think these AI artists are basically doing. And I use that term extremely loosely, to the point of mockery. AI can't generate art, it can only generate images. And there's absolutely no excuse for a billion-dollar company like LEGO to be cutting corners as blatantly as this. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. Tommy Andresen is the co-creator of LEGO Ninjago, and he tweeted his disgust at this, saying that art should be made by artists, not machines. As of now, LEGO have taken down the website, so you can't go and have a look for yourselves. Good on them, I guess. So it's the next day and there has been an update. LEGO have put out an official statement on the situation. It's not particularly special, they just said it was part of a test that happened outside of their usual approval process. I don't know how much I believe that, feels a bit convenient. You would think if they had a clear policy that was that strong against using generative AI that nobody would even try it in the first place, even as part of a test. The closing line of this very short statement also says that they're gonna continue using generative AI. That feels like a weird inclusion, but whatever. Here's hoping it doesn't happen again. Thanks to Jay's Brickblog for covering the story, I wouldn't have known about it otherwise, and to Lego Anime Girl on Twitter for being the person to spot it in the first place. Thanks for watching, and farewell.